Stop everything, because Jasmine Peneda just walked away from the United States, and she's not looking back. After years on 90 Day Fiancé, after every fight, every tear, every for the cameras moment, she packed up her life and left it all behind. Why? Allegedly, TLC betrayed her with a $70,000 scandal that pushed her to the breaking point. And if you think the drama you saw on screen was intense, wait until you hear what really went down. Hi, I'm Jessica from Reality Spots. Before we dive in, hit subscribe and ring that bell, because the story you're about to hear isn't just juicy gossip. It's a lesson in manipulation, courage, and the hidden costs of reality TV. Comment below. If you were in Jasmine's shoes, would you have walked away or stayed for the cameras? On camera, Jasmine's life looked chaotic but entertaining. Heated arguments with Gino, emotional breakdowns, and jaw-dropping confrontations. But behind the scenes, the story was even darker and a lot more controlling. Producers allegedly staged fights, tweaked her reactions, and even manipulated her relationships to boost ratings. Every argument you saw might have been scripted to make her look unstable. Every tear, every shouted word, every shocked reaction had someone else's plan behind it. And then there's the money. The network reportedly failed to pay her the $70,000 she was owed for bonuses, travel, and appearances. That's not just a check. It's a violation of trust, a betrayal of years of hard work and vulnerability. Jasmine allegedly tried to get answers, tried to hold people accountable, and kept her professionalism even as the pressure mounted. But after repeated delays, broken promises, and manipulation, she realized nothing would change unless she took control. Imagine the weight of opening your life to millions of viewers while knowing you're being used, misrepresented, and financially cheated. The emotional toll isn't something a camera can capture. And yet, for Jasmine, the breaking point wasn't just the money. It was the principle. A network that allegedly twisted her story, pushed her into conflict, and used her emotions for ratings. At some point, enough is enough. The decision to leave wasn't impulsive. Sources say she quietly made plans, knowing the impact it would have on her life, her relationships, and the show itself. Cast members scrambled backstage, some begging her to stay for the cameras, for the storyline, for everything. But she had made up her mind. Allegedly, doors were even barricaded to try and stop her, a last-ditch effort to control the uncontrollable. But Jasmine wasn't just walking away from a show. She was walking away from betrayal, from manipulation, and from a system that had spent years using her. Every scene on screen might have suggested chaos, but behind the cameras, the stakes were much higher. Relationships were strained, tempers flared, and trust was shattered. And all of it came to a head the day Jasmine finally left. It was the culmination of years of emotional manipulation, financial exploitation, and stage drama. The real story, the one the cameras didn't catch, was brewing backstage with intensity that fans couldn't imagine. And yet, this is only the beginning. Behind the drama you've seen, there's a maze of manipulation, contracts ignored, and emotional pressure that would have broken anyone. What really happened with the $70,000, and how far did the network allegedly go to control her? That's the part that makes this story explosive. $70,000. That's the number that allegedly changed everything for Jasmine Peneda. It wasn't just cash. It was a symbol of trust broken, promises ignored, and respect denied. Bonuses that were supposed to recognize her effort never arrived. Travel reimbursements vanished, and payments for appearances were repeatedly delayed. Imagine working for years, exposing your life, opening up to millions of viewers, and then being denied what was rightfully yours. That's not just frustrating, it's demoralizing. The money alone could have been enough to make someone question their career. But for Jasmine, it amplified something deeper. Every financial slight fed into a larger pattern of control and manipulation. She was allegedly being pushed to perform emotional reactions on cue, to argue when producers told her to, and to react in ways that fit a narrative that wasn't her own. Every stage fight, every editing trick, every confrontation was designed to make her look unstable, dramatic, or even the villain. And when your emotions are constantly on display, controlled, and judged, it takes a real toll. Being manipulated like this creates a psychological pressure cooker. You're constantly walking a tightrope. Do you follow your own instincts, or do you follow the script? Do you defend yourself, risking the label of difficult, or do you stay silent and get edited into a character that isn't you? Jasmine allegedly faced exactly this dilemma day after day with no real support. Every interaction with the producers carried weight. One wrong word could become a viral moment, twisted into something she never intended. Behaviorally, this kind of control is devastating because it attacks agency. When someone else determines how you look, how you feel, and even how your relationships play out on screen, it's easy to start doubting yourself. You second-guess every expression, every reaction, every choice. You wonder if your natural instincts will be punished, or worse, if your reputation will be tarnished. Jasmine's alleged experience shows the price of being a reality TV star. It's not just the cameras, it's the constant negotiation of your own identity under pressure. And yet, Jasmine didn't just crumble. Allegedly, she stayed professional, stayed patient, and stayed herself as much as she could. That's resilience, standing up to manipulation, refusing to let stage fights define her, and demanding what she was owed took courage. Every time producers tried to push her buttons, she navigated it, holding her composure while planning her next move. But money and manipulation aren't isolated problems. They intersect with emotion, trust, and the human need to be treated fairly. When those things are violated repeatedly, even the most patient person can reach a breaking point. It wasn't just backstage whispers either. Cast members reportedly noticed the pressure, some trying to intervene, others just watching the tension build. The emotional strain wasn't invisible, it was palpable. And while cameras captured some arguments, the real weight of betrayal, deception, and stress existed entirely off-screen. Every delayed payment, every manipulated confrontation, every threat of being misrepresented combined into a pressure no one could ignore forever. And this is where the tension reaches a boiling point. The backstage dynamic between Jasmine and Gino was allegedly far more explosive than anything aired. And what happened behind closed doors would shock even the most seasoned fans. The $70,000 scandal was only the start. What comes next in their relationship and the chaos on set makes you question everything you saw on television. On screen, Jasmine often appeared composed, collected, even measured in her reactions. Fans saw a woman standing her ground, sometimes heated, sometimes emotional, but always seemingly in control. But behind the cameras, the story was a different world entirely. Allegedly, every smile she gave, every argument she contained was under immense pressure. Producers reportedly manipulated situations, prompted conflicts, and edited footage to amplify drama, leaving Jasmine walking a tightrope between authenticity and narrative control. What viewers perceived as calm and deliberate was, in reality, a woman navigating constant psychological and emotional strain. Cast members and crew allegedly watched the tension build with a mix of disbelief and concern. Friends of Jasmine reportedly saw how exhausted she was from balancing expectations, demands, and orchestrated confrontations. Some cast members allegedly felt powerless, unsure how to intervene without jeopardizing their own standing or getting pulled into the drama. Others quietly supported her, noting that the emotional toll of manipulated scenes and delayed payments could push anyone to the edge. The tension wasn't just personal, it was systemic, embedded in how reality TV structured every interaction. Her looming departure also indirectly fueled conflicts among other cast members. Andre's reported hostility escalated, while Libby allegedly got caught in arguments she hadn't intended to join. Jovi and Yara, normally more peripheral players, were reportedly drawn into confrontations triggered by the chaos Jasmine's exit initiated. What seemed like isolated fights on camera were, according to insiders, ripples of her decision to reclaim control of her own life. Every unresolved argument, every strategic edit, and every on-screen showdown carried a weight that spilled far beyond the frame. And then there was a moment backstage that nearly derailed filming entirely. According to sources, tensions hit a fever pitch during one reunion segment. Cast members argued, crew scrambled to maintain order, and Jasmine allegedly stood her ground against attempts to control her seating, her lines, and her reactions. Emotions ran high, tempers flared, and what unfolded behind the scenes was reportedly more chaotic than anything viewers could have imagined. It was a raw, unfiltered confrontation that reminded everyone on set just how fragile the controlled world of reality TV could be. Even as she faced these pressures, Jasmine reportedly maintained a moral compass. She refused to bend to manipulative tactics, refused to act against her principles for the sake of drama, and allegedly challenged the network on fairness and representation. That stance, sources say, unsettled producers who were accustomed to controlling the narrative without pushback. It's rare in reality TV to see someone hold firm to their values when financial stakes, reputation, and scripted drama are all stacked against them. Jasmine's defiance sent a clear message. She would not be manipulated, no matter the cost. Every system has a breaking point, and for Jasmine Peneda, it wasn't a single moment. It was the slow accumulation of pressure, day after day, fight after fight, disappointment after disappointment. Allegedly, the financial betrayal, emotional manipulation, and staged conflicts reached a point where she had to make a choice. Staying would mean continuing to expose herself, to be twisted for ratings, and to compromise her principles. Walking away meant reclaiming her life, but it also meant leaving behind relationships, fans, and a career she had invested so much in. Sources say there were repeated confrontations with producers about what she was owed. She allegedly demanded the $70,000 she was promised, asked for transparency about schedules and edits, and even sought respect for her choices on and off camera. Each conversation, however, reportedly ended in delays, half promises, or dismissals. The constant push and pull created a moral and emotional weight that most viewers never see. Imagine pleading for fairness while cameras are rolling, knowing every reaction could be used against you, and realizing the people in control don't actually have your back. This wasn't just about money. It was about integrity. Allegedly, Jasmine's refusal to play the role assigned to her on screen was a form of protest. She didn't want to be the villain, the explosive ex, or the drama starter. She wanted to be treated like a human being, not a ratings tool. And that stance, rare as it is in reality TV, came at a high cost. Emotional exhaustion built up, sleepless nights multiplied, and the constant awareness that every move was scrutinized reportedly made her feel trapped. Fans often see the tears and fights, but few grasp the human cost behind every on-screen moment. Meanwhile, tensions with Gino reportedly escalated as her decision loomed. Sources say he tried repeatedly to reason, to negotiate, and even to calm the chaos for the sake of their storyline. But Jasmine had allegedly reached a point where no argument could change her mind. Each discussion, each plea from Gino was met with a firm resolve. She was done. The emotional impact rippled across the cast. Some tried to intervene, others watched in disbelief, and everyone backstage reportedly felt the weight of what her exit would mean. It wasn't just her story, it was the structure of the season, the dynamics among cast members, and the carefully orchestrated drama that now teetered on the edge of collapse. And yet, even in these high-stakes moments, Jasmine's actions reportedly reflected strategy, poise, and moral clarity. She wasn't walking away recklessly. Every step, every decision was calculated to reclaim control while avoiding unnecessary conflict. That mix of courage and intelligence is what made her departure so shocking and, for many, inspiring. It's a rare instance in reality TV where someone asserts boundaries so firmly that even producers have to pause, reconsider, and face the consequences of their own tactics. And here's where it gets even more intense. In her final moments on set, backstage chaos reportedly reached a level even the crew hadn't experienced before. Doors were locked, voices raised, alliances shifted, and tempers flared. What you saw on camera barely scratched the surface. The fallout from this single decision would set the stage for weeks of drama, tension, and unpredictable consequences for every cast member still standing. The moment Jasmine walked away, the set reportedly erupted into chaos. Cast members who had stayed on the sidelines were suddenly pulled into arguments, tempers flared, and schedules were thrown into disarray. Scenes had to be rearranged, seating shuffled, and producers scrambled to maintain control. Allegedly, even the crew admitted they'd never seen such tension behind the cameras. What looked like drama on screen now had real consequences for everyone involved. Andre's behavior reportedly became increasingly hostile in the wake of Jasmine's departure. Libby, caught in the middle, allegedly faced mounting pressure and scrutiny from both cast and crew. Jovi and Yara, who were already navigating their own storylines, reportedly got pulled into conflicts they hadn't anticipated. Every unresolved tension, every minor disagreement suddenly became magnified, fueled by the absence of Jasmine's stabilizing presence. What viewers saw as isolated arguments was actually a chain reaction that left the entire cast on edge. Social media erupted almost immediately. Fans dissected every clip, shared screenshots, and speculated wildly about what had happened behind the cameras. Some praised Jasmine's courage, calling her brave for walking away from money, fame, and a high-profile relationship. Others debated whether she had acted too impulsively, wondering how the season would recover. Hashtags, fan theories, and emotional reactions flooded Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, turning her exit into one of the most discussed moments of the season. The online frenzy underscored just how invested audiences were in every behind-the-scenes twist. Speculation around Andre and Libby grew intense. Rumors circulated that their future on the show was in jeopardy, and insiders allegedly hinted at the network reconsidering their roles after a series of aggressive confrontations. Fans debated whether they would be removed, suspended, or allowed to continue, and the uncertainty added another layer of tension to an already volatile environment. For the cast, this wasn't just about on-screen drama. It was about job security, personal relationships, and emotional well-being. The stakes had never felt higher, and while the cast grappled with immediate fallout, Jasmine's absence loomed large. Every argument, every on-set panic, and every adjustment to the schedule reportedly reminded everyone that her decision had changed the rules of the game. Allegedly, producers had to rethink storylines entirely, and cast members were forced to confront their own choices in ways they hadn't before. The emotional stakes weren't just high. They were explosive, with the reverberations felt by everyone still on set. And yet, the story doesn't end here. With Jasmine gone, questions swirl about what comes next. Will she take her story to the media? Could legal action be on the horizon? Or is she plotting a quiet new chapter far from the cameras? What she does next could change the game for reality TV stars everywhere. The public reaction to Jasmine's departure was immediate and intense. Fans flooded social media, weighing in on every detail. Some praised her bravery, calling her a rare example of someone refusing to be exploited for entertainment. Others expressed outrage at the network, questioning how a reality TV show could allegedly manipulate a cast member, withhold promised money, and push someone to their breaking point. Debates erupted about ethics, morality, and the human cost of fame, with viewers divided between shock, empathy, and disbelief. For Jasmine, this wasn't just a media spectacle, it was a reclaiming of control. Sources say she moved overseas, cut off ties with people who had tried to manipulate or pressure her, and took deliberate steps to distance herself from the entire system that had worn her down. It wasn't a retreat. It was an act of empowerment. By walking away, she signaled that no amount of fame or money could justify surrendering her principles or her well-being. Every decision she made reinforced her agency, demonstrating that it's possible to step off the reality TV treadmill without losing dignity or self-respect. Psychologically, this kind of action carries weight most viewers don't always recognize. Stepping away from a high-pressure, high-visibility environment takes courage, especially when years of effort, exposure, and emotional investment are at stake. Allegedly, Jasmine's choice reflects the importance of setting boundaries, protecting mental health, and refusing to allow others to dictate your narrative. Fans responded not only to the drama, but also to the message. Standing firm in the face of manipulation requires both strength and strategic thinking. Even the social media commentary highlighted that her departure was more than personal. It was symbolic. Many fans admired her for choosing respect over spectacle and sanity over fame. It sparked wider conversations about how reality TV treats its participants, the moral responsibility of producers, and the emotional cost that is rarely broadcast. Jasmine's exit, allegedly deliberate and considered, became a real-world lesson in agency, courage, and resilience, offering fans both inspiration and reflection on the pressures behind the scenes. Jasmine Peneda's journey is more than just reality TV drama. It's a case study in pressure, exploitation, and the cost of fame. Her story highlights how financial promises can be broken, how editing can misrepresent someone's character, and how behind-the-scenes manipulation can escalate stress to unimaginable levels. It reminds viewers that what appears on camera is often just the tip of the iceberg, and the human cost behind the scenes is rarely captured. For audiences, there's a clear lesson. Recognize when someone or something is trying to control your narrative. Whether it's a network, a co-star, or even social pressure, awareness is the first step toward protecting yourself. Jasmine allegedly maintained agency by refusing to be a pawn in someone else's story, by standing firm for what she was owed, and by walking away when the pressure became unbearable. Her example shows the power of asserting boundaries and reclaiming control, even in environments that thrive on drama and manipulation. This story also circles back to earlier suspense points. The $70,000 betrayal, the staged fights, the near-explosive confrontation with Gino, and the immediate fallout on set. Each of these moments reflects not just reality TV tactics, but human resilience in the face of pressure. Jasmine's decision forced everyone, cast, crew, and fans, to confront the difference between entertainment and real life, and to ask uncomfortable questions about fairness, ethics, and respect. The emotional stakes extend beyond Jasmine. Andre and Libby's uncertain fate, the ripple effect on Jovi and Yara, and the tension among remaining cast members all underline how one person's moral stand can unsettle an entire ecosystem. It's a reminder that courage isn't just about walking away. It's about creating consequences that expose the truth and demand accountability. And here's the question that keeps lingering. What will happen next, both for Jasmine and for the show itself? Will producers change how they handle cast members? Could there be legal or media fallout? Or will the network double down, pushing boundaries for the next season? The answers are out there, and they could reshape the entire franchise. As we wrap up, the key takeaway is simple. Agency, boundaries, and integrity are not negotiable. Recognize manipulation, protect your emotional well-being, and know when to step back. Jasmine's story is a dramatic reminder that sometimes the bravest move is walking away, and that leaving on your own terms can be the most powerful statement of all. And if you want to see what happens when reality TV faces someone who refuses to play by its rules, stay tuned for our next video. We'll explore the shocking aftermath, potential media, and legal moves, and how this could rewrite the dynamics of 90 Day Fiancé forever.